In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about what it means to buy a house together as a common law spouse and what the differences are when it comes to getting married versus being common law, and considerations that you might want to think about before you go ahead and make that purchase with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So first things first, what does it mean to be common law? In Ontario, to be considered common law, you have to have lived together for at least 3 years. You are considered common law a little earlier if you do have a child together. But the most important thing to keep in mind when you are common law is that you do not have the same property rights as two people who are married. When you are married, both partners equally own their assets together. It is undivided. Both people will get 50-50 if they split. But as common law couples, it doesn't work like that. How do you buy a place together when you are common law? Now, when you purchase a place, you put yourself on the title of that property. When you buy a place together, you can either have one person on title or both. The decision is yours, what you want to do, and sometimes it has to do with who is contributing more financially. But it gets more complicated than that. You can buy a property together in two different ways. One as joint tenants, or two as tenants in common. Now, I'm not talking about renting, that kind of tenants. It's actually a legal term for different kinds of ownership. If you buy a property together as joint tenants, you both own the property together. It is undivided, and you both equally own the home. And you also need to get the other person's permission if you want to sell the home. And if one person passes away, the ownership automatically goes to the other person. So that's joint tenancy. The other way you can own property together for two people is tenants in common. This is kind of more like owning shares of the property, and each person will own typically different shares. You can have the same amount of shares, so it could be a 50-50 split, it can be a 60-40, 70-30, however you would like to split it. But the key difference between joint tenancy and tenants in common is that if one person passes away, their ownership, their share in the property doesn't automatically get passed on to the other person. They can pass it to whoever they want. And they can also sell their share in the property at any time without getting the other person's permission. So it's a little bit more common for common law spouses to do it this way. But again, please consult your lawyer. Your lawyer will ask you about this at the time when you purchase the property, if both of you were to be on title. Now, what if one person is on title, but the other person is contributing in their own way? It could be they're helping with the mortgage, they're helping with the house repairs, property taxes, utilities. So the other person is contributing, but they're not on title. And this is why it gets super complicated and you don't want to be in those muddy waters. Essentially speaking, whoever is on title owns the house. If you are helping pay the mortgage, you're helping pay the utilities, you're doing all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you own the house. And that's why it is so important to talk about this with a lawyer and sign a cohabitation agreement early in the game. Another thing to think about is, on the flip side, if only one person is on title, but the other person was helping the entire time, and that was how they were able to pay for the house, and now you guys have split up, and the responsibility of paying for the house has now gone back to that one person, and they can't afford it anymore with their income. They're also screwed, right? The moral of the story is it's very tempting to be all up on your emotions, and it's a very emotional journey to buy a place, especially buying a place together, and you'll make lots of great memories in your own home. But if you want to set the record straight and avoid messy legal battles later on in the game, get a lawyer to draft a cohabitation agreement for you guys. So legally speaking, your assets are protected, things are clear cut, and you won't have to deal with legal battles down the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video about common law spouses and buying a place together. Please subscribe to my channel for more real estate content for millennials and first-time home buyers. I love working with you guys, and I love making content for you. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.